Alright, so when you first open Godot, you're going to see something like this, although yours probably doesn't have any of these other projects on there unless you've done projects before. And what you're going to want to do is just create a new project. So go ahead and click on New, name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it YouTube Sandbox. And you'll notice some things down here. Forward mobile compatibility. This can be changed later. It just has to do with how strong the graphics engine is and whatnot. The one warning I will give is you might want to shy away from mobile. I have a computer that works perfectly fine but won't handle the mobile graphics. So forward plus is good, compatibility is fine. I'm just going to leave it, and you can learn more about that later. It's always scary that you start off with this "you cannot do this" warning, but it's actually pretty easy. You just create folder, create and edit, and it creates a folder for the project for you, so you don't really have to think about it a whole lot, which is the whole point of this tutorial, is how to do things quickly and easily, even if it's not the best way to do it. So I'm just gonna make my screen a little bigger, and when you first get into Godot, you see this, and it's kind of intimidating. There's a lot going on, but simultaneously there's not a lot going on. You see blank space, there's a bunch of blank stuff over here, and it's not really obvious what you're supposed to do first. Just for comfort reasons, I'm going to click on 2D, because this is a more familiar blank space. It's just basically a blank sheet, and here's where we want to start creating whatever it is that we want to create. So in this very simple from zero to something tutorial, we are going to start by making just a movable character. And what you're going to click on is Other Node. You have all these options. Other Node is going to be the one you're using the most. Here's something else that's kind of intimidating. There is all, whoops, actually didn't mean to do that. So let's go ahead and cut that, and let's just do create new scene. Okay, so now I have a new scene, and we're going to do Other Node. What I was actually going for is a lot of these have drop-down menus below them. So many options, and it's hard to say, well, geez, which one am I supposed to select? Well, we are going to look for a character body 2D. So if you just start typing, I got as far as cha, and I am already seeing character body 2D. That's really what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to double click on that, and I still see nothing. Well, character body 2D is kind of like a placeholder for where the rest of the stuff is going to go. So in order for a character body 2D to work, it needs two other things: a collision shape and a sprite. I'm going to do the sprite first. So with this highlighted, I'm going to press plus, and just like we did before, I'll just start typing, and I get sprite 2D. There are other options, of course, but we're going to go simple today. And we're also going to click the add to get a collision shape. And you see this little triangle up here is now down here. Our collision shape now has the triangle because we haven't decided the shape. So when I click on each of these different things that I have for my character body, you'll notice over here under Inspector, we have a bunch of different things changing. For the purposes of my collision, I'm just going to pick a circle shape, and I don't know what size I'm going to want it. I'm going to make it look a little bigger than that. For the sprite, don't have an error here. However, I'm not seeing anything. So we want to drag something up here to where it says texture. If you have an image that you'd like to use, you can drag it to this little file system down here, and then drag it in. Actually, I would drag it up over here. Fortunately, they give us the icon. You always have something to work with. And I'm just going to drag the icon over, and there we go. There is our Godot icon. Probably the proper thing to do here would be a rectangular thing, but you know what? We're going with the circle because we did circle. If I want to rename any of these things, I can just click a second time. I'm just going to call this player. You can rename any one of these parts, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So we can do scene, save scene, and when we save it, we'll see it pop up over here. So now we have a scene that represents our player. It's now an object that we can use inside of other scenes. Now, right now, the player can't do anything. So what I can do is I can click on this script on the player, and now I can do things. There is a template, which is pretty useful, especially if you want to do like a 2D platformer. It's pretty much set up to just have a player do a 2D platformer. I'm going to turn this off. I don't want to use the template. so that when we create our script, all it says is extends character body 2D, meaning it inherits a whole bunch of useful information. And I'm not going to go into great detail because that's not the point of this tutorial. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to create a little function called physics process delta. Delta is, of course, time, and every fraction of a second this process gets called, and it's telling the program what to do. There's actually a pretty simple way to do movement, and we're going to say direction. So direction is going to be input, capital I, get vector, and here's where we put all of the different user input options for up, down, left, and right. So it's just UI underscore up, comma, UI underscore down, comma, UI underscore left, and UI underscore right. Great news is you don't really have to understand what that means. It's just that it automatically has the up, down, left, and right arrows, and supposedly gamepad controllers as well, though I haven't actually tried that one myself, but they're supposed to work. And now what we're going to do is going to say velocity is equal to direction times, and we could, a lot of people use some sort of constant for speed. I'm just going to type in my own constant. Let's call it 300. This is in pixels, so you want a number that's relatively large. And then finally, you're just going to call move and slide, which allows your character to move and possibly collide into other things if they exist, but you won't be seeing that today. So let's go ahead and save this. Oops, I did save scene as. That's not what I wanted. Scene, save scene. If I play this, it plays a predetermined thing to start with the project. I haven't determined anything, so this guy up here will actually play just the current scene. And he's going to show up in the upper left corner because that's where he's placed, and I'm just moving the arrows, and we can see him moving around. And I just discovered something myself. You actually have to do it in order because this guy is not moving in the directions that I expected. That's very funny. Hey, learn something new every day. So I think what we need to do is change this to left, right, oops, right, up, and down. And now we actually have, okay, now it's moving the way that I expected. So you got to go left, right, up, down. Who knew that order mattered? I'm sure somebody did, but not me. Okay, so that's actually it for today. I wanted to do the whole from nothing to something. So hopefully you can look at Godot, not be intimidated, see how even when you make a mistake like I did, you can actually figure it out pretty easily what went wrong and get something that works. So enjoy. Please like and subscribe the video subscribe to my channel. There we go. And we'll catch you in the next video.